So I'm pretty sure you've probably seen a commercial like this.
It's fresh. It's all natural. And it doesn't exist. Shutterstock iced tea. This is not a real product.
And one like this.
Beauty cannot be described, but now it can be smelled. Fragrance by Perfume. Wear it, I guess.
And probably one like this.
This is this flashlight. It seems particularly bright. It has this button on it. Do you need a flashlight? Well, this is one.
Now, one thing that commercials like this all have in common is they're all about the beautiful, professional-looking product shots. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do all three of those. Let's get started. Shooting product shots is kind of one of my favorite things to do. You can kind of just throw on some music and take your time and really just kind of practice the fundamentals of lighting. So with this video, I wanted to do three very different styles of product shots, and I wanted to do them all for less than $200. In my personal opinion, pulling off a really good product shot, it kind of comes down to three different things. Number one, what is the material of the product that I'm shooting? Whether that be a shiny material, whether it's translucent, what you'll find is lighting different materials is going to have different effects. Number two, what is the set or surface or environment that you want your product shots to be in? And then number three, how are you going to make it special? Now you have a still object just sitting there. You've got to find some way to make it look interesting. Whether that be with a filter or putting something in front of the lens, you gotta add some sort of special little trick, a little bit of extra spice on that bad boy. So with this iced tea commercial, I wanted to go for the most generic kind of beverage style commercial I could think of. So here we're really gonna lean a lot on the set. So we want the set to give us a backyard feel. We want it to be an environment that we can all sort of relate to. So starting with the surface, I wanted something that looked like it had been out in the elements and it's not just a perfect, nice table. So what do you do when you need something that looks weathered? You go look around in a dumpster. And believe it or not, I was able to find a whole bunch of wood. So to create my surface, what I did was I just took this wood and just built the top of a table, basically just a legless table. And I spent some time staining it with kind of a nice reddish wood color because I thought that would play nicely with the color of the tea. And I also put a couple coats of polyurethane on top of it because what you really want with a surface most of the time is a nice shiny surface. You want your product to kind of reflect off of it. It just always adds a little bit of something extra to your product shots. And to me, it's little details like this, like making your own surfaces specifically for that product that make a world of difference and just really bring out that professional feel. If you learn one thing from this video, learn this. If you have a translucent material like a glass or a perfume bottle, pointing a light directly at it isn't going to do anything. What you're doing is lighting for the reflections. So here is just kind of our base level that we're starting from. So we're gonna start right here. I've got this one LED Fresnel punching off of this poster board over here, and I just wanted it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that one on as well. So we've got two lights blasting into this poster board. And then over here, what we've got is basically just a shower curtain, and I've got it folded like 3 times, so it's just triple diffused. It's 3 different layers. And right there, I'm punching a aperture 120D through there, and it's just gonna go ahead and contour that bottle really nicely. So of course, we wanna start building a backyard feel. So what I did was I just went and got a set of string incandescent lights and just hung them up in the background. And I also just right at the last second, just went out in the main area of the office here and grabbed a couple of trees. All right, so trick of the trade, fake ice cubes. You never use real ice cubes because obviously they melt. And these also just look a whole lot better on camera. They're crystal clear. These are super cheap. You can buy them online pretty much anywhere. And now jumping into the Perfume commercial setup. To start, I started with a 50% gray seamless paper backdrop. You can buy those for 40 bucks online. And I also went to a home improvement store and bought one of these pieces of acrylic plastic. They're, you know, something like 30, 40 bucks. And there are way more expensive things out there for this purpose, but to me, this acrylic works just fine, and you can find it pretty much anywhere. And so once you put the gray underneath that acrylic, what you get is a really nice, just kind of natural looking fall off into nothingness. And then in the front with that shiny surface, you get a nice kind of reflective, just a little bit of reflection of the product itself and whatever set you build around it. And so again, this product was very, very, very translucent. So shining a light at it isn't going to do anything. So I needed to light for the reflections. So one thing that can be kind of difficult with a product like this is actually finding where your reflections are. So what I like to do is I like to take something that's mobile like this that creates light and just kind of work it around the product and see if I can find where a good reflection spot is. Okay, so just to kind of run you through what reflections I'm creating here, I've got a poster board over on this side now, and then a poster board over on this side. And so here's what it looks like when I turn both of them off. Okay, and then here's the reflection on the left, and here's the one on the right. So one thing I'm gonna do with this light is, because it's bicolor, I'm gonna let it be a little bit warm so that it kind of calls out some of the gold colors in the perfume itself. And so we're gonna get a little bit of color contrast. That's gonna be pretty nice. I built out the rest of the set with some white kind of flowers. I threw in some little tea lights and lit them and just kind of put them in various places between the foreground and the background. I used a diffusion filter called Black Pro Mist, and I also, in front of the lens, right in front of the lens for some of the shots, I had a rotating platform that I use for product shots all the time. And I stuck a glass prism on there that you can also find online super cheap, and just a regular run-of-the-mill glass, like what you would pour a glass of water into, and just had them kind of rotating on this platform in front of the lens. And now moving into the flashlight commercial, that is a type of lighting setup that you can repeat 100 times. For me, this is kind of a lighting setup that is just a baseline product setup. You can use this for 100 different things. But this is primarily effective for products or objects that are not fully reflective or fully translucent. And so to get this set up, all you gotta do is just have a nice, big, soft top light. I use my big 4x4 diffusion frame, and I talked about that a little bit in this video right here. But what you do is you just start with a big, soft top light source and get the diffusion as close to the product as you can get it, so it's nice and spread out, and then you can just hit it with whatever backlight you want. So in this case, I grabbed my LED stick light again and just chose kind of a nice blue color. I just thought that kind of would play nice for this flashlight commercial. And that hard backlight will usually look pretty cool depending on the product. And for the surface here, I have this really nice, really cool, just square of diamond plate metal that I found at a home improvement store for like 20 bucks one time. It reflects light in really cool and interesting ways. And when you pair it with my rotating little turntable that I was talking about before, you get some really, really cool stuff. So all of these were shot with the beloved Sigma 18-35. I love this lens. I use it all the time. To me, it's probably one of the best budget-friendly lenses you can ever find. But one of the best things about this lens is that it has a really, 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 really close minimum focus distance. So you can get really, really close to the product, but also very, very wide. And what that allows you to do is get these big kind of dynamic shots of whatever you're shooting, and it makes your product feel like a really large product even though it's pretty small. And of course, if you shoot in 4K, what I do a whole lot of is, you know, some digital pushes or moves, speed ramping. Just experiment and start building your own playbook of things that you like to do with your product shots. Anyways, as always, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.